Hello, I'm Stephanie and I'm going to go over how I study today in this video. A lot of people have been asking me how I study. I'm finally getting around to answering that question. I just want this video to be helpful for people because studying can be kind of a different kind of animal. And somehow I saw the light, and whatever I do, my method just works for me. Don't know if it'll work for you. I'm just putting it out there into the atmosphere and hoping it'll help at least one person. I'm a junior nursing student at Belmont, so this will pertain to just college and nursing too. I will definitely put my little tips in there, although I don't know everything. We're just gonna briefly discuss these things. I'm gonna try to be as quick as possible because I know we all have things to do, and I highly doubt you'll even make it to the end of this video. Here we go. In class, I make sure I write notes in a blue pen. Don't know why I do that. My psych teacher told me that blue pens are good for the brain and help you memorize. Don't know if it's just me psyching myself into thinking that or if it's actually backed by evidence. Who knows? That's just what I do. I really am a believer in writing things down. But if you're good at the computer and that's your thing, go for it. So getting to the studying aspect on how I kind of do it. It depends if you have a study guide or not. If there is a study guide, I am first of all praising the Lord because I love a good study guide. Second of all, I'm filling that out about 2 to 3 days before the test, probably while watching Friends or New Girl or something like that on Netflix, because it doesn't have to be cognizant, honestly, for me. If you want to do that, it'll probably help you a little bit more, but I like to, feel like I'm not doing homework when I am, so I'm watching TV and flipping through my notes, filling out the answers. So when I have that done, that's when I start the studying process. But if I'm filling it out and I'm confused about one of them, I make sure I email my teacher, and if I do it about 2 to 3 days before the test, likely they will get back to me, hopefully. There's always that one teacher that sucks at that, but it's okay. Anyway, so once you have the study guide done, this is where my method comes to play. I use a whiteboard. Any size will work. This is just what I use because I can pack it in my backpack. I literally go to school with this in my backpack and my eraser, which I dropped back there, so I'm not gonna get it. I come in and I swear I look like a freshman, and I'm like, I swear I'm not, but I don't care, honestly. So yeah, and there's nothing wrong about being a freshman. It's just a look. So I make sure I have this, and even at home, I'll go through the study guide, 1 through whatever, and I'll write the numbers on this side, 1 through 20, and I write it. And I'm just a list girl. I like checking things off. It's really satisfying for me. I don't know. So I do that, and then I write the answers of the study guide on here. And if I don't know it, I make sure I circle that number, and I'll come back to it later. So I want to go through the whole study guide, just one run through and see where I'm at. How much do I actually need to study for this? It just helps me know what I know and what I don't know. It's really important to know that, because if you're studying things you already know, it's just a waste of time for you, and it's not doing you anything if you already know it. So I make sure I go through that pretty early, and so I know which ones to focus on. Once I have the ones that I circled, I will go through those and just try to check them off, try to see if I remember them. And if I get them right, I'll undo the circle and put a dot by them. And if I get the dot right, then I'll pretend it was never circled in the first place and I know it. I just do that until there's nothing left. I don't study all day. I take breaks. It's good to take breaks, go out for a walk. If you're stressed, have a good healthy-ish meal. But don't feel guilty if you want some ice cream. I'm there for you if you need it. Try to basically go through this whole thing so you can feel confident before you take your test. Okay, I know mostly everything. You don't have to, master every single one. but you'll know which ones right before the test you need to look over. So there is the study guide one. That one's pretty easy. All right, guys, this is where it gets good. This is how you go about studying when you don't have a study guide, which is a very common thing for nursing school. It sucks. But I will show you how I go about it, and hopefully it'll help you. Hopefully. Again, I'm just saying what works for me, and it's been pretty effective so far this year. So here we go. This is how I go about a test. For nursing, where I am at Belmont, it's concept-based. So I know what concepts I need to know. If it's not a concept-based class, that's fine. Just go through your notes and see what topics you were going over. Just let your notes guide your studying. I don't read that much. I do for quizzes, but when I study, I don't read. Unless it's not in my notes, they didn't go over it, which happened this time. It's a bummer, but we're gonna make it through. Like when I take notes, I make sure I star things that they say is on the test. So I make sure it's written in my study guide. So this is just an example, but our first test in nursing this year was about fluids, electrolytes, and acid-base balance. So those were my 3 concepts. I'm gonna go over just my electrolyte study guide and show you kind of what I did. I have horrible handwriting, probably was destined to be a doctor or something. So this is over potassium, I believe. Yes, potassium. I put the range that I needed to know, the jobs, then I put hypernatremia, hyponatremia, and the signs and symptoms and how to treat, and the most important nursing implications. And that's really all I did for all of the electrolytes. And just made sure I knew them. And again with the whiteboard, I'm a mess. Again with the whiteboard, I wrote all of the electrolytes that I needed to know down, and I crossed them off. If I got them, and if I needed them, if I needed to go over it, I circled it. And once I got it correct 2 times after that, I could cross it off. It's just so satisfying. I don't know what to say. I also think it helps with your confidence and taking a test knowing that I know it, and it just helps you not second guess yourself. And in nursing, they really pound that into you. Don't change your answer. So it'll help with that. So acid base, I just kind of put alkalosis symptoms out, and then acidosis symptoms, and then did respiratory and metabolic. Basically what I'm saying here is each concept, try to fit it on one sheet of paper, the front or the back. So you can, when you're thinking in a test, oh my gosh, what did that say? You'll have a whole sheet to remember. I'm also a big lover of note cards. I am totally behind using them. I'm just using this now because my farm teacher scared me out of using note cards. But honestly, I think the way that I do it, it would have been fun. So yeah, that's basically what I do. Just go through your notes, use your notes, figure out what you don't know, ask your friends to explain it to you, or your teacher. Try to get ahead of it so you aren't overwhelmed. And if you are overwhelmed, take a walk. Honestly, that's what me and my friend did once. We were hella overwhelmed with this test that we had, and we just went out and rode birds around 12 South, and we both did well on that test. I don't know. I say it connects, but who knows? I also say the day of test, I make sure I get a good amount of sleep, but I also make sure I wake up an hour or 2 before the test so I can make that stuff fresh in my mind. I might even test myself over the circled ones again. And yeah, I bring this to school with me and I go over it right there. This video will hopefully be over. Closing, I'm just gonna go over the high points of what I think. Write in a blue pen. Listen to classical music when you're studying. Studies show that helps. having a mint or gum in your mouth when you study, and also having that gum or mint flavor in your mouth when you take the test can help you remember things. Making sure you sit at the same place that you do in normal class. Don't know if there are studies behind this, but it just helps me think, oh, I learned everything in this exact spot. Like, it'll help me remember. Also, putting your hair in a ponytail. I don't know if this is true. I just heard it someday that if you have your hair up, like, you test better, you score better. I also believe in the power pose. This thing, like, I don't know if you can see me, like doing this for, I think it's like 2 to 3 minutes. It can help boost your scores. But basically, before a test, just calming yourself down and just talking yourself up, saying like, I got this, I'm gonna make this test my B word, you know. Just faking yourself out that you know it and taking the test one question at a time. And, you know, it just, especially this whiteboard method, you know, crossing each number of the study guide or each concept off, it just helps me feel a lot less stressed. And okay, I only have this many things to do. Or, okay, I just need to take it one concept at a time. It helps me not get overwhelmed. And being overwhelmed and stress can ruin your memorization. So I hope this is helpful. Go kill it.